Hey everyone, it's Rainman from Red Mist. We just finished up our second Dream Match war in a row. Uh, we hit up Bacon and Booze again. Uh, Not really a close war for that one. And then right after that, searched again and got matched with Reddit Row, another RWCS clan. We actually warred them shortly after Mist was founded, and there were quite a few members from Row that went to Mist. And I believe they won by one. That was right before I joined. We'll go ahead and show everyone use their attacks. We'll go ahead and show what they did to our bases. I will say we had a lot of fun with this war. It saw all the bases, and they were, for the most part, anti 3-star. They brought the attacks. We geared up. We planned, and for the most part, we executed pretty well. Row was ahead of us in attacks for most of the war, as far as number of attacks used, and we kind of let them stay that way for most of it. And at the end, they were gonna have to 3-star every last one of their attacks and get the 2 1-star bases. We are kind of waiting around for that. So a couple of the attacks, which I'm gonna show them in base order, not in the order they were done, but some of the attacks towards the end. Anyway, we'll start at the top. Got Kermit going in on Sergeant Soda. I'm going to go through all of the 3-starred bases and show the attacks. Probably speed through the ones at the lower end that were bully attacks. We had, I think, 4 stars available on 3 bases after all the Town 08s were done. So we, got the easy stars to, get a better lead going on. But we were already ahead at that point. Not sure if that would have really mattered. I think Row did the count of how much we out leveled them, but we had a 1 town hall advantage because we had a town hall 10, and we had 23 hero levels on them. Now this wasn't a sync matchup; it was completely random. We were very surprised. We were actually discussing in leader chat going in to the search, that we really needed to find a war sync, and that I wrote Ward with Row not that long ago actually, and had a great time over there. A lot of really cool guys, and was just floored by how similar clan level wise they were. Similar upgrade path when hitting Town 09 that I used because I read through some stuff on their subreddit. And it was pretty much exactly my philosophy with it, and a bunch of the other people in the clan as we've guided them along, or that's something they already knew. But very similar. Hero levels were pretty similar. So I was thinking about that. I was like, well, we could try to set up a war with Row. It'd be not too hard to get the match. Then we got them randomly. Just happened to be searching at the same time with the same number of people. And Dirtbag coming in. Now, Dirtbag has been doing Laloon pretty much since he showed up in Mist, and for a long time it was spam Laloon, back before the air sweeper, and just almost always wrecked the base. He'd use his heroes to deal with the CC and then Laloon away, and it was just amazing to watch. But here he's got 3 air defenses lined up in a row, and 1 behind the Archer Queen that he's going to try to get to. These balloons are really going to do work on his Barb King. But there's not much in the way of damage coming at his Archer Queen, so she can hop up there and take out the air defense. That's the first thing she's going to target. He still has her ability, so not much risk there. In comes the Laloon. And because of what he got with his kill squad, he was able to go straight in on this first air defense, which was great. So his first hound survives the first air defense, and he's got 3 hounds almost all at once on this one air defense over here, which really helps because it's getting targeted by 2 air defenses at once. And I think by now, yes, all of his hounds had popped. And these loons are not going for this air defense. The pups actually come in and get started. Go ahead and start fast forwarding it. It's pretty much clean up at this point. Just no more air targeting defenses left. Besides, Laloon cleanup is pretty boring. Now we got Kermit's other attack. As you can see, like they're pretty similar level wise to us. They have their wizard towers, air defenses, and Teslas are the priority over all the other types of defenses, which is how it should be, in my opinion. Cannons and mortars. I have seen mortars surprise me on my hog attacks, where just more damage than I thought was coming to my hogs, and a little slap with the heels. I actually just got done watching all of the attacks from the war on stream. There was a Reddit Omicron streamer streaming. He streamed a little bit last night. I believe there was someone else streaming before that. From what I've heard. Not sure because I wasn't watching that one. Kind of a lucky attack because this golem's coming around from over here. All of his hogs end up dying out. His heal doesn't last quite long enough to get him to the end. It ran out just too early. And his heroes are gonna come in and save the day. Plus the few wizards that are left running around. These goblins are just wasting time trying to bang on walls. I don't think they'll last long after getting over here. Nope. He had one pocket wizard that he dropped at the end. Wanted to make sure it didn't go down and could come over here and take out these defenses before his Barb King went down. Great use of the wizard there. I actually didn't 3-star this war, which I'm kind of sad about. But my first attack on an unattacked base at least got the 2-star, and I think that's took a lot of the pressure off because even on our fails early on, we were at least getting 2 stars, which takes a lot of the pressure off. When you can go in on a base and you're not worried about making sure you also get the town hall. Should you fail, you can just attack it the best way you know how to completely destroy it. And when you can concentrate on bases like that, it makes a world of difference. I mean, we didn't resort to using Go Wiper or anything, but to do that, we were still doing 3-star strats. It just happened that way. I don't know if maybe the town halls were right next to Archer Queen on all of them. Thumper. Alright, so this one was towards the end. I don't think we'd mathematically completely won it yet at this point, but it was not probably going to happen. They would have had to 3-star the rest of their attacks by the time Papichulo went in on this one. And Thumper used to be in Mist, so he wanted to have a little bit of fun with it. Gets most of the CC, all the important ones. Archers aren't going to do much. Gets all the important ones right here, and it's able to soften the queen up with his poison spell. And he goes ahead with the rest of the attack. These archers aren't going to last long. They're going to go down pretty fast. They're not going to do much to the golems. And notice he dropped 3 wall breakers to make sure he got in here, and he's got 10 more. He was on his way to class, rushing to get in, asked who to attack, and Thumper hadn't been 3-starred yet. He was just 2-starred, so Thumper it was. And of course, since he used to be a mist, it's one of those kind of want to attack him, just because. But the 10 wall breakers that were left over, that's 2 more hogs or 2 more wizards and some other stuff. So, and he had a rage left over instead of another heal. Another heal would have just made this attack trivial. It is a little bit of a drop down attack. So given not being tripped up by a double giant bomb or anything tricky, it is a cleanup attack. But if he had a heal right here for the last few defenses, it would have just been a massacre. So right now he's just relying on what's left of his kill squad. His Archer Queen just barely stayed up from the Tesla and skeletons. And he got lucky with this rage hanging out here for a little bit longer, giving his wizards sort of a nice first shot at that storage. And he's gonna see his troops come over, drop all the wall breakers, and finish with a bang. I got Heath going in on one-shot killer with a shattered Golo-Wee-Wee. This is interesting. So all the air defenses are pretty close together, but they're in 4 different compartments. Kind of tricky, because Golo, usually you see it on bases where they're all in the same compartment or pretty close to it. And on your way in, if you get into this compartment with your Archer Queen, these air defenses are all going to go down. He does have a jump still, because he raged his wall breakers in, I believe. I have to rewatch it because I wasn't paying that close of attention. But I'm looking here, and he doesn't have a lot of DPS over near these air defenses. And these golems are over here not really doing much. I mean, I guess they're tanking the Archer Tower, which helps. He's got his Bard King over there tanking, but he's about to go down. Alright, so Loon's going in down south. Now, I'm not sure what ended up getting this air defense. I don't remember watching this live or on the Twitch stream. We also had quite a few bases that or attacks that just ran out of time. I had one like that. That was my first one. It was a good base. I got tripped up trying to lure. Shouldn't have lured. Should have just gone in cold. Probably could have pulled it off doing it that way. But I sent my hogs in. Then had to send more hogs in because they went to the wrong defense. So I had to take out that defense and then send another hog in on the other. And then I was loaded full of archers plus a dragon, which combined hard-ish to lure with also having a high health point troop that you actually have to kill before you get started. So, and I also attacked this base. Used my heals a little too early. That's what did me in, because there's a giant bomb here and here. Ass came in right after me. I knew where 3 of the giant bombs were. Had a pretty good idea where the last one was. Just because of how I came in, I ended up needing the heals earlier. And my Barb King kind of got wrecked. I didn't need him to kill the Archer Queen. She was dead before he even got there, but he went in anyway. but he's taking out this whole area, so his hogs have no reason to go there. In this area over here, so that's 3 of the giant bombs you don't even have to worry about now. There's, I think it's down here, the last one. These compartments over here are all Teslas. But it does a wall because there's a bunch of defenses all in a row here. Trying to avoid some of the spring traps in between defenses that are right there. Has some heals on the Teslas because at this point they're probably the most dangerous. I don't know, maybe he could have got away with 1 heal there, but he is a Town Hall 10, so he has that extra spell, which really helps. Archer Queen is still up. Last defense is about to go down, and bye bye Barb King. Fast forward to the end of the raid. It really helped to have a pocket wizard here. Would have sped things up. I'm not sure how close he was on time. Heath again. We had several guys with 6-star wars. Really great to see. Stone Goho Wee Wee. Only 8 hogs. A lot of wizards right there. Not my style. Just I like relying on my hogs. He uses a haste. Not sure what the haste does for him there. Maybe he helps his Barb King dodge a shot or two from some wounds while his wizards and witches jump in there. Dragon goes down. He's got to jump, but it looks like he had already broken through that wall. Uses a heal on some wizards. They're not really getting hit. I'm not sure about that heal. Because they weren't really getting hit. The only thing over there that would have been hitting them was hitting a golem. Totally wrecks his base. He's got so much DPS up still. And then sends his hogs in, loses 3 of them right off the bat on this wizard tower. Something he really wanted to get rid of. But yeah, now there's really nothing left that can really hurt him. This cannon's beating away on this golem, so that's not going to matter. But all of his troops are already down, and he has nothing left to stick on the outside to help clean up outside trash. But he has a few hogs up, so they can jump over walls and get the job done. Gets a nice split. If this witch hadn't gone this way, I don't know if he'd have had enough time. He shifts attack on Sam. Doing a Laloon with level 1 hounds. Now this is something you don't see very often, at least not on a Town Hall 9. Level 1 hounds, no big deal on a Town Hall 8. They are level 6 air defenses, which is why this would work. Got a few hogs going in. I wonder if he was trying to get... Yeah, you got 2 air defenses. I don't know if the hogs are necessary for that. That's probably why it works. He was able to bring 3 level 1 hounds. He drops them both right there. That's interesting. Dropping them together like that. But, if that's what you need, if you need your hounds to come in from this angle, or you want them to for some reason, then, I can understand that. Didn't see if the other hound survived. It probably didn't because... Oh, wait, it did. Yeah, so he used... Maybe that's a higher level hound. We'll have to see when the attack finishes. Yeah. So 3 level 1 hounds. And he still had 1 survive. Fantastic. I mean, not that it survived. You kind of want it to die, but got the job done. The cam going in. Going 3 golems. Gets a nice funnel going. These loons are going to go in untouched. Little bad luck getting this wall opened up. It sends 3 wall breakers, so 1 will tank while the other 2 get hit. Or take out the wall, but doesn't quite get it done. So he just barely gets the lure out right there, which is good because you don't want to wait too long to get the CC out. Got quite a bit of the trash cleaned up. Golem going in. Not gonna have to worry. And his troops have nowhere to go but inside the base because he did a great job funneling. Got witches going in to make sure everything's distracted, and really the trick is here. He wants to trip as many traps as possible, or the double giant bombs. So now he can send his hogs in, and they're not going to have to worry about giant bombs at all. Just a surgical drop, all on this one side. No giant bombs to worry about. I probably wouldn't have healed there. I would have healed this area for my first heal. He's only got 2 heals, and you want to make them count. He doesn't really have to worry about this side over here. He's got Golem and Archer Queen, but probably could have done the heals a little bit better. If you're watching this, just because your hogs got a little low on health, watch for what can hit them. Because by the time they're right on a mortar tower or a mortar, they're not going to be taking damage. And having that last heal here would have helped. Right around here, you lost so many of the hogs, and you didn't have a lot to begin with. Great job with the scout and how to. I know this was a cleanup attack, but pretty sure it was anyway. But getting these giant bombs done and the CC dealt with was great. Had a bunch of the base already taken care of. The Archer Queen survived. Just heal placement probably could have been better and would have made it just that much better. Carlito's Kid hitting Garrett. See, so this one, I'm gonna start looking at the timer. This one, he had a minute 40 left. No, 40 seconds left when he finished. Going in, shattered. I will say that, missed for a little while. Didn't have a lot of max golem makers in it, or rather level 4 for Title 9. And it's fine having lower level golems when you're just gonna bring one and you're gonna bring it in the CC. That's fine. But as your hair levels start going up, it really makes sense a lot of times to bring more than one golem. And if you're sitting at level 1 or 2 golems, it's not good for that. If you're going to be bringing that many golems, you want to have the highest level you can. And so, we made a big push sort of together. I don't necessarily think it was a concerted effort, but we got our golem levels up, and we have so many people in the clan that can make their max golem for Town Hall, and it makes such a huge difference. One, you have more people that can donate it, and puts less strain on the ones that can. When it's only a few people, then it kind of tough. But it puts less strain on the ones that can make max golems, and we're seeing a lot of attacks now with 2 or 3 golems in it, and you get so much more value out of them. Fast forward to the end here. Archer Queen at full health. Barb King went down to this double giant bomb and featured. Didn't even kill the Archer Queen. Ancient Cows hitting right around his level. I don't know if this isn't really a true anti-3 base. I think DC pretty simple to lure, and the Town Hall is still sort of in the middle. Or anti-2. But by far and away, most of the bases were anti-3 bases. And honestly, I prefer to attack that style. I get kind of bored with anti 2-star bases. Basic 4 bases. I get kind of bored because in the war we just got, they call themselves a war clan, but looking through the bases, there's not a lot of bases that really make you think. And every once in a while, yeah, you want that feel good, easy base to hit. Good confidence builder. But lately I've been purposely waiting a little bit later to call a base, or searching through and finding one that I thought I could 3-star, but was going to be a little tricky. Needed some plan. And usually that's with anti 3-star bases. You work out a way to surgical hog it. You know, that's usually what it ends up being for me. Which is going to finish us off, right? Pretty soon we're going to get into the bully attack category. See, this is 8.5. I think this is an 8.5. The last one might have been. I wasn't paying that close. Gets the lure, takes out a defense. Yeah, Mist kind of struggled a little bit when we had a lot of people go to 8.5 all at once. And while it's a better strategy than dropping expos right away as far as war attacks or war weights not being totally screwed over, it's puts a real strain when you have a lot of people doing it now, because they used to take into account the town hall level wasn't that big of a deal, and walls weren't that big of a deal, and heroes weren't that big of a deal. So as long as you didn't build your high weight defenses like expos, or upgrade past your town hall 8 level, you can even build all the other new defenses and get them leveled up. Work on your Archer Queen, work on your walls, and you weren't gonna increase that much in war weight. And now that the matchmaking changed, and that was right around this time we had this huge explosion of Town 8.5s, and I sort of started the process. I was one of the first ones to really go to it, and I've been itching to rush to Town 9 a little bit early because my walls were done. And I kept telling myself, oh, I want to finish Teslas, and like, well, I'm so close to finishing this other thing. Ended up waiting until I was pretty much max. I didn't have all my collectors max when I went to Town 9, but that was it. Well, in the lab, I don't think I had giants, healers, or goblins max for Town 8, or Valks, but who does Valks? And I went to Town 9, and then shortly after that, they changed the matchmaking, and it still kind of makes sense to do the 8.5 strategy, but just the amount of the advantage that gives you diminished. So we had a lot of people going, and the issue isn't necessarily them going to 8.5. The issue was everyone learning Town 9 attacks at the same time. Town 9 is a different beast than Town 8. It really is. Again, well, I guess there's a giant bomb there, so that is a good heal. And gets a double giant bomb where a heal wouldn't have mattered over here. So that was a good lucky split, because he did an Asian wall going in. It's hard to plan just how many of your hogs are gonna go in on which defense and then split off if you're doing an Asian wall. Great with that giant bomb right there. Goes off and his hogs are back to full health by the time they leave the heal. Got the last heal for the last defenses. No poison spell. I wonder if he's upgrading Dark Spell Factory. Most of the people are already done with that. So I'm wondering. Yeah, so we had a whole lot of people trying to learn the different strategies for how to kill the Archer Queen. And also, when you just hit Town 9, you're obviously not going to have level 4 golems yet, or decent level Archer Queen. Unless you're like me and you want to get your Archer Queen up as fast as possible. So as soon as you have the DE for the next level, you dim the finish time and go on. But not many people want to do that. This was, I think, one of the last attacks. I don't remember because JV came in, and this was sort of the one where we're like, all right, well, it's gonna be really hard for them to come in because I think this was a 1-star base. Might have been the last 1-star base. But at that point, we're thinking it's gonna be really hard for them to come back and get the lead back. And at any point when Roe had the lead in number of stars, which was actually like that for much of the war, we had a great little bomb spots, took out his wall breakers. Had a couple more, waited till we broke through the wall, so wall breakers did nothing there. But yeah, so this was towards the end of the war, and we were trying to get just as many stars as possible to give us a cushion because we'd taken the lead and we had more attacks. And this last heal spell, not great. Should have tried to cover that giant bomb. His hogs were at full health and they all survived and didn't take any more damage. But quite the nail biter of an attack. And now we're in fully attack territory. As promised, I will fast forward a little bit. Straight up bully attack. Which, I mean, when all your Town 08s have done their attacks and you've got Town 08s left up, you're gonna need to clean those bases up. You don't want to leave Town 08s on 3-star. I mean, that's free points right there. And our general strategy has been to get that heal could have been better. Is to get Town 08s to do all of their attacks as early as possible. Plan and do them to the best of your ability, but get them done early so the Town 09s know what they have to drop down and hit. We don't really like having to drop down to hit Town 08s because it's less war loot for us. We don't get the practice on Town 09 bases when we're hitting up. But you do what you need to do to secure the win. Got D's Nuts attacking number 26 with a Golo Wee. Another bully attack. I'm sure we had at least one Town 08 3-star Town 08. Hope we did. I mean, when I say Town 09 is so much harder than Town 08, it's not because we're going back and hitting Town 08s as Town 08s. We remember when we're doing hog attacks how easy it was to 3-star any Town 08. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get caught off guard sometimes and you'll fail sometimes, but for the most part, it shouldn't be that difficult. Ancient Cows and his bully attack. I'm starting to wonder if we did have any Town 08 3-stars. We'll see. Wall breakers in, does a go-ho, and then just double wall of hogs all around the side. Just very little planning required. Doesn't use his last heal. Keeps it in his pocket. Doesn't need it. And here's Amazon. She's more recent. Town 09. I think she might still be doing 8.5. But that 4th heal spell means you can cover, since Town 08 bases are so much smaller, you can cover the entire base if you want to. Now he didn't bring any Barch, But I would have dropped a wizard and brought some Barch. So use archers to pull the CC or out to where you want to kill them at. Then drop a couple barbs in your clan castle with your witches in it. Maybe drop a wizard and your archer queen behind it. Old school. And if you know what's in the CC and you're comfortable doing, the archers underneath the dragon tactic, then you don't really need to bring witches. Like, it's almost always going to be a dragon now. You have a poison if it's really anything else. So a lot of people have started to favor not bringing witches. I've tried it a few times and got burned. Decided to go back to using witches, and then I've recently gone away from it again. But it's just such a mindless way to kill a CC. Another bully attack. So archer for the anchor, drop a barb, archer underneath. And this is what I was talking about. So archers underneath. Watch that in slow motion. That was beautiful. Bully attack or not. Get the CC out and then one. Alright, CC's out. Still moving up. Has this anchor point because of the defense he took out with his hogs. Brings him out. He's going to use a bar block to get the dragon out. So now you can drop troops directly underneath the dragon. And this takes so long to fire that as soon as the dragon starts firing, drop another archer. And this is something that I'm still working on. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I know the theory, but that was just beautiful. Doing a surgical, level 5. Actually, no, he only has level 4 hogs. He's really gone to work on his archer queen. He needs to get his hogs out. We want our Talon Eyes to have level 5 hogs. It makes such a huge difference. Just that extra endurance. I mean, you don't really think it does when you look at the numbers. And level 4 hogs are sort of the minimum to actually use them. So that, because level 3 hogs will just die from a max Talon Weight level giant bomb. Pretty sure they do. If they don't, they're way too close to dying. So you kind of need level 4 hogs. But at Talon 9, that extra damage coming at your troops makes such a huge difference. Fast forward the rest. Anti-3 Talon Weight base. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, they did the job requiring Talon 9 attacks. But, alright, so we had one Talon Weight on Talon Weight. It's a Dragloon. So it gets the funnel going. I usually try to let my funnel go a little bit longer when doing a Dragloon. I do have a Talon Weight alt account, which most of you guys in this know if you've gone to the feeder. That's where he lives. Not that we're using it as a feeder right now. Actually, I might have some attacks to go do. Alright, so this is when I would have dropped loons, or maybe even before that. And I would have dropped them out here. Like right before the drags are going to get targeted by air defenses, because it takes so long to get in there. And in healing drags, I mean, it worked, but when all you're getting hit with is air defenses, and this is, drags are not efficient to heal. The troops you want to heal, and the reason you bring a heal to a drag loon is for the loons, especially when they get around wizard towers on the way in towards the air defenses. You want to rage, heal, but the air defenses deal so much damage, and it's single target, that a heal isn't effective at all. Defending, against an air defense. It has an effect, but not a very big one. So, did the smart thing, dealt with the CC before really hitting the air defenses, and then not coming in at the air sweeper, like straight on. But, loons down earlier, so as soon as your defensive funnel is made, so the loons will go into the core, you have a drop point. Drop them as soon as they're not going to get targeted first by an air defense and a dragon's taking those hits, or is about to. Drop them because they take so long to get in. Rage the loons again over the core because you're raging the dragons for the CC kill. Raging the loons in. Rage them over the core where your air defenses are, because when you're bringing 2 rage 1 heal, it's probably because all the air defenses are in the core. And then heal them over there too, especially if there's splash coming at them, just to make sure they stay up. That is what the loons are for. And the loons here, probably irrelevant. Anyway, that's it. That's all the attacks. I'm not going to show Rose side. They're got their own YouTube channel. I might scrounge up a link when they get their stuff up if they're doing a recap and share it. Anyway, it was a fun war. We really enjoyed it. You know, looking forward to more wars like this.